This podcast is brought to you by Process Baron. Handle everything better. Welcome to Powering the Process, the podcast focused on the real work behind industrial manufacturing. Each week, your host, Jen Little, digs into the systems, equipment, and strategies that keep plants running efficiently. From everyday operational challenges to emerging engineering solutions, we're here to share practical insights that help you keep your process moving. Let's get started.
Welcome to Powering the Process, where we share the stories behind the people and processes that keep America's industries moving. Today's episode is all about excellence, what it means, how it's achieved, and why it matters. At Process Baron, manufacturing greatness isn't just a goal, it's a standard we live by every day. So recently, we were honored by the Birmingham Business Journal's Excellence in Manufacturing Award. It's a recognition that reflects hard work, innovation, and dedication of the entire team. But what does manufacturing excellence really look like? It's precision in every weld, reliability in every system, and a culture that never settles for just good enough. In this episode, we'll explain what drives our commitment to greatness, how our people make it happen, and why excellence is the foundation for everything we do. Today's guest is Michael Stewart. He's Vice President of Manufacturing. He's been with Process Baron about 9 years. So thanks for joining, Michael. So glad to have you here today.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me and exciting to be here and be a part of this.
So I have to ask this first. We have over 120,000 square feet of manufacturing space.
That's right.
So what is that like? How do you manage that day to day?
Well, it's all about how you organize it and how the structure. So each one of them is managed by a plant manager. So there's two different facilities. So they each have a plant manager and then the structure underneath that. So we have cells set up and try to do cellular manufacturing. So we have lead people in each of those cells, and it's just a coordination across the whole production line, from the scheduling to the order entry people, to making sure that we are aligned across the whole organization on what the goals are for that day to try to get the products produced and achieve what we're trying to do for the day and for the week and for the month. So it's about, having that consistency and communications between all the different groups and departments. So,
yeah, I can imagine that that's a lot to do every day.
It can be a challenge, and getting everybody on the same page and making sure that everybody understands what the goal is for the day. We do shift huddles and things like that to help coordinate everything, so every team member knows what to expect for the day, and so that we're all trying to achieve the same thing, the same goals for that day, and ultimately just to try to meet what the customer expectations are, because that's what it's really all about, is satisfying the customer needs.
Right. Well, I've got some questions here that people want to know about manufacturing. So, what does manufacturing excellence mean to you personally?
Well, similar to what we just talked about, it's the alignment of those people and the processes and what the purpose is, what we're trying to do. So that starts with precision at every step of the way. I mean, in my group, we pick up after the order entry, so the engineering piece of it, the detailed engineering, making sure that's correct, and the reliability of our operations to deliver on the expectations, to deliver good quality products on time. Where quality is not negotiable, that it's something that's built into every process, and it's something that happens at every step of the process, not something that we just check right at the end of it to make sure. And it's really about, the pride that all the team has in delivering products that to our customers that they understand are critical for their operations and how they run, and to make sure that they're able to produce their quality products as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, like we mentioned, winning the Birmingham Business Journal's Excellence in Manufacturing Award, what did that signify for our team?
Well, the award, it was a tremendous validation of the hard work of the whole organization. Really, it was a manufacturing award, but we're a manufacturing company, so it's not specifically just how we weld things and how we machine things, but it's the whole company, how we develop solutions, how we estimate those things, how we give good pricing on those things and add value to the customer. But then, of course, is the execution piece of it, making sure that we're communicating across all the organization, that we're building those reliable products to the high standards. So, to have an outside organization like the Birmingham Business Journal recognize, the hard work that we put in is really, really an honor, and really helps motivate us to do even better and try to improve on what we've already been able to accomplish.
Well, I know we've had some innovations lately, I guess over the last couple of years in the shop. And one of those is the robotic welding.
Right.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so it's been a big positive impact on the operations as we move to more technology solutions in the production piece. We've also done a lot on the manual welding machines with computer controls and things like that, and the type of feedback loops we get for the welding. But it's specifically on the robots, it's given us more consistency in the welding operations. One of the things that's it's a struggle in engineer to order where we're not repetitive, so we're not production line robots and that sort of thing. So it's a challenge. So the team that we've had leading that effort to implement robots into the production process has done a really good job, and specifically around utilizing robots that require what they call no-code programming. So typically you would spend a lot of time programming a robot to do a certain task, and then you do that task thousands of times. Well, we don't do that. We don't need to spend 40 hours programming a robot that's going to take 20 hours to do something. So we might as well just do it. So the advantage that we have with the robots and the solutions that we develop is that it's no code. So the robot learns from you teaching it, and you have control points where you touch and tell it where you want to start, where you want to stop. It has vision control systems, all that kind of stuff. So all of that's led to faster, more repeatable welds, in some cases higher quality welds, and for some of the products that we do. So we're looking to expand that across the organization and to be able to utilize that. But the key is in an engineer to order and a custom equipment manufacturing is be able to have that speed and being able to get the robot to quickly perform the work, not have to spend a lot of time on the setup piece of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. I know that those sales are built over in the South Shop.
Yeah, that's right.
I believe. So is there one particular product or two that they're used primarily for, or is it just wait and see what comes in?
Yeah, well, it's a little bit of both, but so we have two different industrial robots, or two different robots. One's an industrial robot, one's what's called a cobot. And so they're both utilized in different ways. The industrial robot we try to use for more repetitive type volume, and when we say repetitive, I'm not talking thousands, I'm talking 100 or 50 or something like that, where we set up and we run, that quantity. And then we have a cobot where it has flexibility, so it's portable. You can actually move it around to the shop. So if we have large ductwork projects or things like that we can, or big fan housings, then we can actually move that robot to where the work's being performed, and then have it program and do that work right there in position, and then move it down somewhere else and do the same thing. So that's the goal, and that's what we're trying to achieve too. It's definitely a learning curve. It's the first application of robots within the company, and so and in this environment. So for us, and so it's pretty impressive, and it's amazing what the technology is with feedback loops on the controls and for the welding, and then also the vision control systems to make sure you're staying in the seam and that you're the weld is in the right spot.
Right.
Sort of thing. So
right. I know it was completely different to introduce something like that to the shop. But I know that you have a couple of people that are trained specifically for those units.
Yes.
But how did you see, maybe in the beginning, how did it seem to affect just the balance of the shop, and how has that changed since we've had those in operation a couple of years?
So it was interesting when we first implemented the robots, and the reaction of the team members. A lot of them felt like their jobs were threatened and the robots were going to take over, and that they were going to put them out of work. But that was far from the truth. So the robots is a technology that's great technology, but it takes time to implement those things and to get them in a production state where you can have that reliability and that repeatability. So when they first came in, the team members, it was a high awareness and seeing interest in what they were doing, or a lot of people saying, "Oh, those things will never work," and those sort of things. But it was a lot of friendly competition when they first came in, because the guys were saying, "I can weld faster than any robot that's here," and in some cases it was probably true. We got some really good team members and very good welders in the production operations. But But they quickly saw that it wasn't really a threat to their jobs, that it was another tool to use to add on to what our capabilities are to help us in meeting that customer commitment and making sure we can deliver good quality products. So we use those robots, pretty extensively in the South plant for some of the higher volume type of products that we produce. When I say higher volume, I'm talking 100 to 200 parts, 50 parts, something like that.
So I guess with the introduction of the robots, and then once everybody got settled down with it and saw what they were there for, what their actual purpose was, because everything we do is custom. We rarely do the same thing twice. So instead of replacing what a person was doing, it was actually just adding capacity. So while the robot and the cobot are performing this task over here on this piece of equipment, it actually freed up our expert welders to be working on the more complex things.
Exactly. Yeah. So they've saw that and saw how it can complement one another, and it's been a big positive. And so we're just looking to expand that across, more of the organization as it makes sense, and we're able to.
So are the robots mostly used with the chain that we produce for material handling?
The industrial robot, that's a big part of what it does, is because that's one of the things that we have usually high volume on, which is the flights of all the drag chains. So, as you know, those conveyors, they can be anywhere from 20 feet long to 200 feet long. So it's a lot of those flights. And so that is a lot of the volume that goes through that industrials. We set up on one of those flights. We have fixtures and jigs, so you don't have to measure it and lay it out every single time, and which is time consuming in itself. So we have fixtures that we build up that you just place the parts in it, holds them in the right spot, and then the robot just welds it out. So that's been a big improvement in the manufacturing of those drag chain flights.
So in the past, if we were doing 100 foot of chain and we had a person manually welding the flights on 100 foot of chain, can you just guesstimate what kind of man hours was that?
Oh, well, there's all kind of different flights. So there's all kind of variabilities in there. But in general, the robots, once you get it set up and running, it will produce the parts in about 50% of the time that would take, a welder to produce it.
So meanwhile, that welder's moved on to more complex
That's right.
things. Right.
More sophisticated weldments and things like that.
Okay.
More technically challenged than that.
Okay. So is there a plan to add more in the future?
We will. We'll continue to add additional robotic welding to different operations. We've got models set up and modeling some for robotically welding some of our fans. So we have some companies other fan companies that are not based in the U.S., that's based in South America, that we have relationships with, that are doing robotic welding on fans, and so they're sharing some of their best practices and those sort of things with us. And we've actually had a team that went down there and toured their facilities, and so we're using information we gained from that, our knowledge from the robots, and the knowledge from the people we have, the people that we have implementing here. They're former employees of heavily robotic industries, and so they've been a big help in implementing and integrating these robots into our production. But the plan is, to continue building that across, other product lines where it's feasible and makes sense. So another one is screw conveyors, the augers that we produce for material handling, robotically welding there. Products where it's real weld labor intensive, and there's a lot of simple straight line welds, or that's where they really make the biggest impact and have, really shine and being able to produce.
So I know that we have a very stringent QA/QC program.
Right.
And so those guys that are out there on the floor every day, QCing everything that comes through the shop. So I would imagine that the QC standards are the same. They're looking at something that was welded by the robots versus welded by people. It's exactly the same standards.
That's correct. Yeah, absolutely. So all of the inspectors that we have are CWI, so they're certified welding inspectors. So they're trained in looking for quality of welds, not only just porosity, but penetration and adhesion, all that kind of stuff. So they're evaluating the robots just like they would any other, welder that we have out there.
Right. Well, I know that we have so much that goes through the shops on a daily basis. And I know that maybe it can be overwhelming even for the inspectors at times to go through everything that we send out, but it goes through the same standards every time before it hits the trucks.
Sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, and one of the things we always talk to all the team members is quality of the source, because what we don't want to do is pass down bad quality, because it's easy to look at something and say, oh, that's not quite right, send it on down and let the next guy realize it and fix it. But we talk about it from in all of our meetings, from the engineering steps, making sure drawings are correct, because it's a lot more efficient and a lot more cost effective to fix a drawing than it is to fix a finished weldment. And so when there's drawing issues, or the guys see things that they don't understand on a drawing, or say these dimensions don't quite add up, we empower them and make sure they understand that they bring that stuff up. They just don't let it go and say, oh, well, that don't look like it's going to work. Let's weld it together and see what happens. They question it. So we try to instill that in all the team members so that we have quality of the source. So it's not about inspecting quality in at the final production step to say, okay, this all looks good. It's making sure every team member understands the importance of quality and producing good quality parts, from the drawings all the way through, from burning to fitting and welding, everything that we do, assembly. So it's a very important process.
So maintaining quality is a job in itself. So that's something that happens every day, from the time they hit the floor to the time they leave, day after day. So maintaining those quality standards, I know, is one big piece of what you do. So how do you also, with safety, so you're also having to maintain certain safety standards at the same time. So how do you kind of go about that and keep all the team members focused on both quality and safety and speed at the same time?
Yeah, so it can be a challenge, but they understand that safety is the number one priority. It's in our core values. It's what we do. It's how we do our work. So it's extremely important that we have safe operations. One, just so that we don't get anybody harmed or injured, and we tell them, we return home to the way you came to work is the way we want you to return home to work, and those sort of things. But so we keep safety as a forefront, as part of our incentive packages and stuff like that in the production piece, so that they understand that, and they understand the importance of safety. But it's for their own benefit and their own team members. So we have safety meetings daily and monthly, and to reinforce that. But one of the biggest things that I like to stress, and all the guys certainly know, is stop work authority. So that's a process that basically empowers all the employees to stop work. There's nobody, including myself, the CEO, plant manager, supervisors, anybody that can ask somebody to do something safe. That everybody has the authority to stop that and to call safety team members in to evaluate the situation to make sure that we're operating safety. We're dealing with some very heavy equipment that you don't make mistakes, because you get hurt badly if something falls, and we're working from heights and those sort of things. So safety is critical. So having them understand the significance of the stop work authority is key, and looking out for each other. So new team members that may not be familiar with the facilities and how we certainly do things when it comes to rigging or moving big heavy parts that weigh tons, making sure they understand that, and that they're looking out for those newer team members and helping coach and guide them along as well, even though they all go through, rigorous safety training and things like that when they're onboarded. But still, it's that on job, safety awareness that is critical, in what we ask all of our senior employees to help instill into the new guys.
So it sounds like there's some mentoring going on.
Sure.
When you've got your seasoned guys in the shop and you're bringing in new talent. So there's kind of this unofficial mentoring program. Guys.
Yeah, there's mentoring that goes on across the board, not only in safety, but everything, quality and how you do the work. And so we typically, the newer guys will put in, even if they're new to us, some of the guys have got decades of experience, in fabrication shops, and they know what they're doing. They know their way around shops. So just because they're new doesn't mean that they're inexperienced or anything like that. We have those inexperienced guys, and guys that are trying to, come up through the trades and that sort of thing. And so we mentor them, we train them, we develop their skills, whether it's machining or welding or whatever the case may be. And so we have people that have a lot of patience and a lot of kindness to help those younger and inexperienced team members, develop those skill sets that become critical for us to be able to develop that talent and to be able to produce the products that we make. So we do that mentorship across the company. We also do apprenticeships with local community colleges and those sort of things. So we're heavily engaged with community colleges and both in welding and machining. And so we've done formal apprenticeship programs through the Department of Labor, and we've done informal ones where we bring employees in and we do things like, pay for their tuition and things like that to get them through school with a commitment that they, stay with us a certain amount of time to work. But we've had some good success with bringing in and developing talent that way. So
that sounds great. So a couple of the questions that came to us, what do you think is the most underrated skill in manufacturing?
Oh, well, probably paying attention to detail. The detail matters, and it matters at every step of the way, looking at drawings and making sure that those match. And so just paying attention to that detail, back to some of the comments made about quality, or some of the things about quality, is that just making sure that the details and that every piece of everything that we do is done to the standards that we expect.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think, what is one thing that sets Process Bearing apart from other manufacturers?
I think it's the skill set of all of our employees and the depth of knowledge that we have, and our ability to help customers solve problems and really get them out of situations where they may be having downtime. We have a great group of employees that, from the sales teams all the way through to the shipping teams that really respond to customers, and we build reliable equipment and on time when they need it, to make sure that we get their operations back up and running in the case where they're down, or that we're producing reliable equipment through any scheduled maintenance downtime to meet their maintenance schedules and that sort of thing. And I think they can rely on us to produce that equipment and to be robust and very reliable for years to come for their operations.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that completely. So what do you think, what is the most memorable project that we've worked on for you?
Yeah. So there's a lot of them. Of course, the memorable is the ones that didn't go so well sometimes. And those happen too, where there's challenges, where there's internal challenges or scope not correctly correct, or those sort of things. But,
right.
We're delivering products and jobs every day that are critical to our customers' operations. But, one of the some of the most satisfying, of course, is when it's projects that the customer really is in a bind and really needs the help. And it's not just about fighting fires and taking care of that and jumping through hoops, which we do regularly for our customers, but it's taking care of the day-to-day, jobs as well. And, the most recent one that was the team's very, very proud of is we had a large customer that had a catastrophic failure at their facility, and it was thousands and thousands of hours worth of work, and the whole facility was down. And so it was a big team effort, not only through the manufacturing side, but the field services side of the business as well, to get that customer back up and running as quickly as possible. So everybody understanding what the purpose and the mission and what we need to get accomplished really drove that project to be very successful. And it was certainly one of the more memorable ones. And it just happened, maybe 6 months ago that we helped that customer out. Less than that, but there's lots of those. So.
Oh, I can imagine. I know that, so in field services, we say, I guess the number is that we performed 3,000 different field service jobs last year. Is there a number on manufacturing? I know some of those go hand in hand.
So we do a lot of work orders. They're various sizes. They could be anything from a little small part up to a very large part that is, 30 feet tall. And, so it can be wide variety. So we look at that, and it's an important metric, but it's not necessarily one of the key metrics that we use. But in general, we processed around 13,500 different components last year and produced. So it's a lot of work that goes through the shops to make all that happen and make sure that all the engineering's done and all the production's done. So it's it's always a busy time to be able to produce all of that. So
yeah, I can imagine. So I would say, what is the one innovation over the last few years that you think has tremendously improved our manufacturing process?
One of the things that we've done to help really improve the process is we've done a lot of upgrades on equipment and automation. We've talked about robots and the implementation of robots, but also the capabilities of the machining, updating machinery to more precise equipment, better precision to give you better quality. But it's also the process flow and the discipline of the production and how we produce things. So we started just a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, really evaluating the process flows and how we produce things. And so really streamlining those processes to make sure that we're trying to eliminate those wastes and driving continuous improvement through the organization has really resulted in a lot of improvement in our not only our quality but our efficiency and productivity and ability to deliver high quality parts to the customer.
I know that Process Baron is here to serve customers across many industries.
Right.
And so the guys in the shop that are out there every day, do they realize what they're doing that day, how it fits into the big picture of everything that we do? I know that, so you've got welders out there, we've got the fitters, painters, everything. Do you think they realize really what they're working on, how that fits into the big picture?
Yeah, I think they do, and we try to make it a point of that, because you can get bogged down in a set of drawings or a job number, and they always do that. If you ask them, well, what's the customer there? They generally don't have an idea for the most part. They know a job number. I'm job number 54 or whatever.
Right.
So they reference that a lot, but behind the scenes, they know who the customer is and what it does, and then we also, in some of the projects that we go through, especially the large ones, we like to give them feedback. We get pictures from the field and that sort of stuff to show them, hey, look, this is what you built and this is what it looks like when it all gets installed. So that gives them a lot of feedback, a lot of pride in what they do, and to understand how this stuff is critical to be produced right and to be produced in very good, high quality, to be able to get our customers, operational back again, or replace equipment that may be worn after years and decades of use and that sort of thing. So we do give them that feedback so they understand, and they know what industries we work in and those sort of things, which is, is helpful for them to understand what we're doing.
Right.
But having that purpose and understanding really helps, drive some productivity and efficiency and a sense of urgency in it. But at the same time, we don't want to compromise any of the things like safety and quality and those sort of things.
Right. I know a few weeks ago we had about 6 or 7 semi-trucks leaving with a large order that we had out there. Fans and housings, I believe expansion joints were included in that. Yeah. And as those trucks left, I could see in the background some of the guys had come out from the shop just to watch those trucks leave. Yeah. And it just hit me that I thought, well, they're just proud. They're proud of that equipment that's leaving.
Absolutely. I mean, they put a lot of effort and they put a lot of work and to build high quality products. So it's definitely something they're proud of, and they should be proud of.
Yes.
It's really, really good equipment that we build, and those guys, the team members, of course, are key to all of it. We can buy all these burning machines and robots and all that kind of stuff, and all that helps build a better quality product, but really it comes down to the team members and their dedication and commitment and the skills that they possess and how they perform the work and producing that high quality work.
Absolutely. Well, okay, so as we wrap up, we'll go back to the beginning where we mentioned that we won the BBJ Manufacturing and Excellence Award. All right, so what's next?
Well, I mean, that's just a challenge to try to keep on improving, right? I mean, we've kind of achieved that milestone through a lot of hard work, but it's continuing to drive continuous improvement through that. And it means a lot of things to a lot of different people, but it's all about getting better, eliminating those sources of waste, whether there's waste in the office, wasted time, wasted movements, wasted materials, all of that kind of stuff. So just continuing to drive that improvement to be able to provide, products and stay competitive in the industry, and to continue to develop and our processes internally, and then be able to continue to produce in high quality products that the customer is going to depend on for decades to come. So, and to be that partner, to be that company that our customers look to and can rely on, and understand that, hey, if we call Process Bearing, we're going to get a fast response to our needs, and it's going to be good equipment. And so those are key, and that's what we strive for every day, and we'll continue to build on.
Yeah, bigger and better, right?
That's right.
Well, thank you, Michael. I really appreciate you sitting in with us today.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's been good.
And we appreciate everything you do.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to the next big award.
You too.
Thanks,
Okay,
Michael.
thank you.